Hey everybody, welcome to the WG's podcast. So this is special guest edition with LDG. LDG was kind enough to accept my invitation to just exchange on some different type of topic, but we had like a subject in mind. We decided to keep the screens off for privacy purposes. Hope you don't mind, but I can tell today is gonna be fucking wild, the stuff that we're gonna discuss, because I already discussed off record. And I tell you, this guy's got the knowledge. LGG, do you want to present yourself?
Well, thanks for having me, first of all. It's a pleasure. This is officially the first podcast I've ever done. I'm pretty excited to do this, man, to be honest with you. So thanks for having me. Thanks for the opportunity. And I hope we'll have a great one.
I'm sure. I already can tell before, like, I think we're on the same energy, same wavelength, right?
Absolutely.
So I remember in one of your posts, right? Like you said things changed for you when you became eventually a bit more affluent, right?
Yeah.
And and I'd like was shifted in your mindset towards women when that happened, and even towards yourself?
Okay. Like in terms of women, a couple interesting things happened. And I don't know if this is similar for all guys who have been in my position or in my position, but this is what I've noticed. And I'm going to put it as simply as I possibly can. I'm fairly good looking. I know it may be taboo to say that, but I'm not ugly by any stretch of the imagination. I am fairly good looking. I get women just strictly off my looks. There are women who like me just because they like how I look, right? However, when I made money, women were more willing to spend their money on me than ever before. Now, I've always received favors from women, whether it's gifts and things like that, or they pay for dates or a meal or something like that. But when women knew that I had money, sorry, I'm getting a hiccup. But when women knew that I had money, they spent more of their money on me. I was expecting, okay, now, I'm making money. Every girl's going to be a gold digger. But yes, I've come across a couple ones who had questionable behaviors, who seemed like they were a little bit predatory from to some degree. But for the most part, women spent more money than me now than they've ever done ever since I was born. So that's one thing that I think is interesting, because a lot of guys will argue that, the moment you start making money, you become a target. So I don't know if I can't really tell if it's a combination of fairly good looks and money, where you kind of fall into that Prince Charming category where it's like, okay, you're ticking two of the very important boxes. Because usually, if you make a lot of money and you're not eye candy in any way, and women don't feel any dopamine rush in their brain when they look at you, then they may just want, all you have to offer is money. But I think the combination of both, if you find a way to put yourself in a position where you are fairly attractive and you have money, in my experience, since I got into this position, I've spent less money on women. Now, obviously, I live a better life, so inevitably, I'm spending more money in general, but I'm not necessarily doing it for women. Like if I take a woman to a steakhouse, it's not because I'm trying to impress you. That's just where I like to eat. So I'm not gonna go out of my way and inconvenience myself and go for a walk in the park when I really want to eat steak. Right? So if I'm gonna eat a steak, I'm gonna eat a steak. If you think that you're finessing me because I took you out for steak, then you're a dumbass, because that's where I eat. So I spend more money in general, but I wouldn't necessarily say I spend more money on women. They spend more money now trying to impress me because they're trying to prove to me that they're not gold diggers. I think that's where it comes from. I've tried to pay for stuff for girls and they give me like, oh, nah, don't worry about it. And I'm like, no, I insist. They're like, no, don't do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm not mad at that. So that's one of the most significant things for me in general. The way that I made my money was a very lucky way. So I'm not going to sit here and try to give lectures on how you're going to go about life and 10 things to do to become a millionaire or something like that, because that wasn't the case for me. It was basically a gamble and right place, right time. I mean, prior to that, I had worked really hard. So I guess everything led up to that point. But in terms of what put me in a financially fortunate position, it was strictly gamble. I'm not a crypto nerd and I'm not really deep into it. My sister just told me about the coin and I decided to take the risk and do it. And it turned out good in my favor. So I don't really have any lessons to that per se in terms of others replicating my results. But it changed my perspective on life. It feels good to wake up and not worry about a lot of things. The things I worry about now are completely different from what I worried about 2 years ago. So that's been a significant change. But in terms of girls, it's been pretty interesting too. So if there are any other specific questions that you have in regards to that, I'll be glad to answer it, man.
Yeah. No, you said two things. So far, I heard one thing, which is basically how girls were willing to spend more on you than before.
Yeah,
And I'd say, and on top of that, I'd like to add, I think what's really important to note is you went onto the steakhouse because that's what you wanted to do, because not because that's what you thought to do in impressing the girl, which is, I think, one key thing that guys need to understand.
absolutely.
Don't change your lifestyle for a girl. She'll feel that if it's your habitat or if it is some type of patchwork that you try to create to basically make her believe that you're, you know, that you like to doing that, because at the end of the day, you look like a plunker if you do so. Like, don't do it like that, right? And I think the other thing is because you never, as far as I understand, right, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you never used money in the past as a means to attract the girl. Therefore, it didn't really change when the money factor came in. So therefore, that's why they were more likely to, gravitate towards spending more money towards you. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%. 100%. That's never been my game. Besides, I never had the money to spend on women. I mean, I was doing well for myself, but I didn't have the extra money to just be like, okay, this is my budget for the month for girls, right? That was just never how I went about things. So when I finally came into some money, it was pretty easy because I never viewed myself through what I had in my pockets. I just always thought that, okay, if a girl likes me, she does. And if she doesn't, then the last thing I want to do is try to convince her.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done it before. Can I do it? Yes. Can I raise a woman? If I meet a woman and she views me as a five, after spending some time with me and, sitting across the table from me and on a couple of dates, do I think that I can impress her and get her naked in my bed? Absolutely. Do I want to? No, not at this point in my life. I don't want to do it. Right now, if there are
Yeah.
dudes who want to do it, of course, I'm going to give you the advice. I'm going to give you the blueprint on how you can, you know, increase a woman's attraction for you to some degree. But for me personally, I know there are women who already view me as like an 8 or 9. And now my game is finding those women. My game isn't meeting a girl who views me as a 5 and now I'm trying to game her to get her naked. My game is identifying the women who view me as an 8 and above. So my game has evolved. Do I still have the skills of before? Absolutely. But do I need to use them? No, I don't.
It's funny because I'm of the same idea. Like, the thing is, there is a segment of the game guys that prefer to basically go for the girl that are not born you, so therefore it's an indicator that they are less likely to run through, because if she made it hard for you, she must have made it hard for everyone else.
Yeah,
Whereas I think it's complete bollocks, where you're just entertaining shit behavior out of basically insecurity that you have to prove yourself to a girl, rather than actually go for the girl that actually likes you,
yeah,
because you're already operating under her giving you the benefit of the doubt. Why should you validate and reward a girl that doesn't give you the benefit of the doubt, unless you have deep underlying insecurities about yourself that you need to not only prove to yourself that you can do it, but that you have to prove a stranger that you're worth what you're worth.
absolutely. Yeah, I agree 100%. 100%. There's no trophy for getting a girl who didn't like you to fuck you. Where, like I said, before we started recording, it's still the same nut we're gonna bust.
Yeah.
Like the end goal is still the same. How you get there, it does matter to some degree, but going out of your way to make it tougher for yourself so that you could feed your ego and be like, oh yeah, she didn't like me and I gamed her and look at her now. It means nothing. It means nothing on the grand scheme of things. But, we also have to be a little bit empathetic. I think it's easy sometimes for, guys who are privileged to just be like, oh yeah, the girl who already likes me. Bro, listen. Bro, listen, right? Believe it or not, it's some dudes who have never experienced that.
I know.
And there's some dudes who will never experience it ever. Since till I opened up the Twitter account, I really didn't know what guys were going through.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that
Yeah.
to some degree I thought that to some degree every guy had some, there was a certain percentage of the female population that found them attractive. Bro, There are dudes who no girl has ever found them attractive since they were born.
Mm-hmm.
So with
Yeah.
those guys, I understand. I get it.
No. No,
I get it.
no, no, that's true. That's definitely true. That's definitely true. And this is not us parading. So, oh, look at us. No, it's actually us. Like once you basically max out where you can max out, whether it's the looks, whether it is the social proof, whether it is even on the money, but just the money morally for you rather than actually trying to think that you can buy a girl. Like people think that, yeah, it's like once you've got money, you got to buy a girl, can buy a girl. Yeah, a girl can be bought, but they don't want to feel like they're being bought. That's the thing that guys miss out. So you have to understand that. But yeah, and just going back, I mean, like we were running in loops. But what was the second thing that you felt that changed after that change of fortunes you've had?
In regards to girls, just in general in life.
You said the money first. Like girls, because you said at the very beginning, you said, well, first is girls were more willing to spend money on me. But what
Yeah.
was the other one? I think you said two things really changed.
The other one is just peace, just not having to worry about anything. It's common, but sometimes it can get in your head where you just feel like you have no purpose because of how I made the money. Like if I made the money by, starting a company and, things like that and, revenue increasing year by year and, you're making gradual progress as time goes on, that's different. But mine happened out of nowhere. So it left me a little bit confused. There's peace, but that's why I came back to Twitter. I felt like I didn't have any purpose. I was doing other things, but it just didn't, because I also trade. I trade on binary options and I've been pretty successful doing that also. But when I got it initially, I was losing money like a madman because I came in with a gambler's mindset and I had to reshape that, which is part of what I'm going to, which is part of the things that I'm going to educate my audience on and try to show them how they could make some money for themselves just being able to look at the screen and push a couple buttons and deal with the broker, and that's pretty much it without having to deal with a boss. Now there are guys who are going to come in with the gambler's mindset and blow all their money, yes, but I'm going to be very strict with it. Anybody who I'm actually teaching who's going to be under me, you're going to be on your demo account for like 4 or 5 months because I know you will lose your money if you don't change the mindset of being. I know, and it's a lot of guys who they teach dudes how to do this, and they don't care. They're not empathetic. I lost a lot of money, and I know how much it hurt, and I had money. So now I'm imagining a dude, a young guy, 22, 23, who thinks, okay, yes, I can make some money, and he comes in and he loses the little that he has. I'm not going to be able to sleep at night. Whatever dude I'm teaching, whatever guy comes into the Telegram channel that I end up creating, is like, I will beg you, please do not invest your money. There's a demo account that you can keep trading on forever until you feel confident and only invest money that you're willing to lose. Because the moment it clicks for you, that's financial freedom for the rest of your life. It's worth exploring. But I wouldn't tell anyone to rush into it. So I also did that. I was trying to look for another avenue to be able to generate income and feel useful. So it left me feeling hopeless. It left me feeling like I had no purpose, but it also gave me a lot of peace because I never have to worry about things like rent anymore. I just pay for everything in full, and it's just a beautiful place, to be in terms of financial sanity. Like I'm sane when it comes to finances. So that's a beautiful thing. But yeah, those are the two major things that I think has changed.
It's interesting you mentioned about binary options. It's like,
Yeah.
if I remember well, because I looked into it a bit, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm very much of a trader myself anyway, right? But on
Okay.
sports and on forex, right?
Yeah.
And I was looking at binary options, and I was like, well, if you look at the brokers, like when you know the bid ask spread, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you're starting off at like maybe a 52-48 disadvantage. If it's a purely binary, right? And you think that there's a 50% chance of the underlying asset falling either in the money or out of the money,
Mm-hmm.
with the bid ask spread from the broker, it's technically you're at a disadvantage, right? Because that eats into the probability. Is it still that higher margin? Like in gambling, we call it overround. Is that much? Like, how much does it take if you look at the 50-50 probability?
Okay, so there are different pairs, and different pairs have different payouts. Now, there are two types of markets on most of these brokers. There's the OTC market, which is the broker's own market, And then there's the real market, like the actual pairs, like when London market opens and like the normal Euro USD pairs and things like that. Those ones usually have lower payouts. Now you get up to 92% sometimes, but with the OTC pairs, it's 92% payout, which means if you open a position for $100 and you're in the money, your return is going to be 192. So yeah, 92% payout, right? Obviously for a 50-50 chance because it's just call and put. So if it closes, I mean, if you put a puts position and it closes above your entry, then you lost it all. But if you win, you make 92%, including your capital, the trade amount that you put in. It is tricky. It is completely different from like traditional trading and forex. I personally think the binary option is trading for dummies. That is what I think, and I'm doing it. So this isn't even me, trying to. I'm being very honest because for me, I think it's way more simple. I wouldn't say it's necessarily more easy, but it comes down to money management and probability. I think that the principles are still pretty much the same, but the downside to it, other than the payout, like you mentioned, like because it's hard to see how in the long term you could be profitable with it, but it is possible. It's definitely possible if you have the right strategy and you have the right emotional control and the right risk and money management. They're ridiculously important with this. However, the issue with binary options is that because a lot of people call it high frequency trading, HFX. Everything happens so fast. And you could take a 15-second trade, you could take a 5-second trade, right? You could take a 1-minute trade, and then you could take an hour trade. So for most people, they end up getting addicted. They end up turning into gamblers because of how quickly they can make money. There was a day, I mean, I wish I could show my name and everything, but there was a day I made 40 grand in a day. I was at the top of the list. I was the number one trade in the last 24 hours. And this was like 2 weeks after me joining the platform. I blew it in 2 days. I blew my account.
Oh my God, yeah.
You can make money so quick, but when you're a newbie, you think, oh my God, you get overconfident and think, oh my God, this is going to keep going. I was like, my God, I'm going to be making $1 million a month. I was cooked.
Yeah, you could start future pacing at like compounding rates of return over the next 12 months. Yeah.
I was
Been
cooked.
there.
I was cooked. And something else too is because the payout is guaranteed, right? So let's say you can compound. So if you find a pair that has, let's say, 92% payout, and you compound $100 trade 4 times, like you go all in 4 times, you can end up with 1,400. Like if you compound 4 times on a 92% payout, you can end up with 1,400 in less than 5 minutes. Let's say you're taking a minute trades, 1 minute expiration trades. So if you do that 4 times, you already have 1,000 plus from your 100. So the reason binary options is appealing to a lot of people is because of the simplicity of it, where you could just come in and maybe you just have a random $100 chilling around, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna put this in and try to win 4 in a row. And if I win 4 in a row, if I just find 4 red candles, if I just find a part of the market that I think can give me 4 bearish candles, I have 1,400. So it's easy to shift your mind from the mindset of a trader to a mindset of a gambler with binary options.
And question, okay, sorry. I mean, and don't worry, the audience will go back to women, I would say. But are you trading against the brokers? Or are you trading against the other people?
You mean who's moving the market?
Yeah, no, because basically, like, let's say, for example, you put a call, right? You put a call, you see the Euro USD, you put a call, and if you win, you get $92. If you put $100, but who's losing on the other side? You see what I'm saying?
So okay, so this is basically what it is, right? So in the real market, when you lose, there's someone on the other side of your trade taking your money, right?
Yeah.
On binary options, if you're trading on the OTC market or whatever market that you're trading, everybody's pooling money together. Now, just like every other form of trading, most of these dudes are coming there to lose, right? So what the broker does is the losers are giving the winners money. So if, let's say, you and I, you place $100 trade, I place $100 trade. I lose, I've lost 100. You win, you've won 92.
Mhm.
$8 goes to the broker. That's how they make their money. So whether we win or lose doesn't matter. They made the $8. That's why it's 92. That's why they don't give you 100%, right?
Yeah.
So they take $8 and give you 92. So I just paid you. The losers are paying the winners.
Yeah, no,
So
so yeah, it's like Betfair trading market for sports, right? Or do that with tennis and football. Technically, Betfair takes 5% or 4%,
essentially,
whatever. And it's like, but technically, if I'm losing money, it is someone else's that wins the money. And conversely, if I win money, someone else is losing the money from the pooling factor, right? So,
absolutely.
yeah, okay. Well, that's perfectly fine. And now, and I'm going to transition back to women, but,
Okay.
right? Would you say, and this is me going on the speculation because I like to speculate still, trader, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that why you fucked up before
Mm-hmm.
was because you were in scarcity mindset because you're looking to get rich quick? And that's the first question. And the second question I have is, from the moment that you felt more affluent, where you didn't need to have as much, making as much quick money, did you feel that because you're not played scared money, you were actually becoming much better because of the abundance mindset?
Is this you trying to rope in the finances back to women to see?
Yeah, because like a lot of
Okay.
people just, and the reason why I ask this, right, is like I try to tell people, right, and it's like because and that's something you said to me off screen. Guys like rules, right? Guys like rules because it's clear, it's cut, it's logical, whatever, right? But you cannot manifest a positive outcome if when you apply the rules, it comes from a position of what do you call it? Of mental sanity, where you can apply the rules, but the wrong way because you either basically are scarce or you're not outcome independent. You get fucked, right? And I think that's the same thing for trading as it is for women, right? And I just want to confirm, obviously, because you went from a period where you were doing shit to a
Yeah.
period where you're doing very well, outside of just the god lucky time where you pulled your money at the right place and then there was a pump. When it comes to something that is more regular, something that is more consistent,
Yeah.
that where every day you need to show up with the right mindset, with and the right, action plan. Would you
Yeah.
say that both the scared money, scarcity mindset basically lead you to fuck it up, and then afterwards, when things started doing well on the other side, and you were less scared money, and you were more abundant, you were more outcome independent, etc., the result came in? Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, no, just elaborate and develop a bit more on that so that you can see people can see the shift in outcomes based upon the shift in mindset.
Okay. So I was desperate. We all feel the pressure. You go on Instagram. We talk about influence of social media and everything, and we all act like we're immune to it. But we all go on Instagram and we see what's going on there. Dudes are balling out of control. Guys are
Yeah.
balling out of control. Dudes are posting their watches and things like that. So there's this pressure, especially as you're getting older. You start thinking about it like, am I going to do this when I'm 50? No. Like, I want to do it now. So whenever you see an opportunity, you think that, oh my God, this is it right here. So I went in with some sort of aggression and desperation. And I was in lack, like you said, I was in scarcity. And I was going in with an unreasonable amount of aggression to make things happen as quickly as possible.
Mhm.
And I was successful initially, but then it blew up in my face because I didn't have the patience. I hadn't built the skills. I hadn't built the resilience and the discipline and the mindset and the emotional control to be able to handle the turbulence and um, the ups and downs that come with what it is I was getting myself into. So it was inevitable. It was going to blow up in my face. I just didn't know it because I was a novice. But after I was able to calm myself down and understood that, okay, there's a method. It looks simple, but it's not easy, right? Coming in as a novice and making the amount of money that I made in a day and saw myself at top of the leaderboard, I thought that, oh my God, this is so easy. And I got carried away and it ended up just, the whole thing just ended up, blowing up in my face. So when I learned the principles, when I understood that, okay, you don't come in here aggressive. It's better to do it slow and steady. It's better to set daily goals, daily stop limits, and stop losses and things like that. Then I was able to take a different approach, and that was when I was able to consistently see some progress in the way that I did things. So there's definitely the mindset shift was ridiculously important. I cannot downplay it whatsoever. Because when you're in that place of desperation and you want it so bad, and it's like, oh my God, I'm going to do everything that I can to do it, to get it, then you're not thinking straight anymore. You're in fight or flight. And it's impossible to have rational thoughts that are in your best interest because you're just doing whatever, you know. It's like the analogy I'm going to give is this. If let's say you're getting into a fight with a guy right now and things are pretty calm. You guys are fighting, but you don't feel like your life is in danger, right? You'll be a little bit more logical. You try to punch his nose, try to punch his eye, go for the throat. But if a dude is choking you out, right? And if a dude is choking you out and you can feel like, listen, I'm using up all the oxygen that I have left. This dude is about to kill me. And the only way you can save your life is to hold his balls. You will. You're going to grab his balls.
Yeah.
You're going to squeeze that motherfucker, right? So that's it, right? When a normal day, you're not going to want to touch a guy's balls. You're going to be like, ooh, that's gay. But when you're in that fight or flight mode, you do things that you're not going to even want to do. And you may think that, oh, yeah, that's going to lead to a good outcome. And you grab a dude's balls and now it makes him even more angry. And then he strangles you out and you're dead. That's basically what it is. So that's how it felt, going in with that aggression, and you're always in constant fight or flight, and you're so obsessive about the outcome. You want the market to do what you want it to do rather than just watching what the market wants to do and putting yourself in the right position to be successful. So yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible, but the mindset shift was definitely important in order for me to be able to be successful with it. So yeah, that's it pretty much.
Yeah, and if I was to narrow down, because guys love the technicals, guys love lines, guys love the stuff that gonna make them go from A to Z, right?
Yeah.
If you mentioned candles, right? So I bet you're a technical analyst type of guy, and I am as well, right?
Yeah.
What would you say? What would you amount to the success? Your success is based mostly on what? Mastering of the technicals or mastering of psychology slash mindset?
Technicals, I'll be honest with you, right? And this may go contrary to, because everybody on, Twitter, especially on the masculine side of Twitter, tries to make it seem like we're all these stoic dudes. And listen, bro, listen, I'll be honest, right? And, sometimes I get cooked on my Twitter because when I say things, it'd be like, oh, you're black pilling, or you're sounding like a pussy now. Get the fuck out of my face, bro. Come on, right? I don't always have to walk around like I'm Captain America or something. I have my moments. One of the things that I struggle with the most is the psychological aspect. Bro, I'll be honest with you. I've blown so many accounts that it almost brought me to the point of tears. Yeah. Right? And that's because I was finding it hard mastering the psychological aspect of it. It was terrible. It was terrible. I have struggled. So it's the technicals that I'm proficient in. Yeah, you were saying?
So you're telling me that basically the psychological is what basically made you blow up accounts, but you yet still say the technicals is the most important.
No. I didn't say the technicals is the most important. I said the technical is where I flourish at.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's where I flourish at.
More from a perspective. Say, for example, if you look at, like, let's say your success, if you were to give a percentage, right, that amounts to 100%, right? Like, how much would you attribute to psychology and how much would you attribute to technicals?
You mean when you're talking about my success, are you talking about my success in trading? Because those are
trading. Yeah. In trading. Yeah.
In trading, I'm still going to say technicals. And I'll tell you why.
I love a contrarian, by the way. So go ahead.
I'll tell you why. Right. And this isn't me trying to defend prioritizing technicals over the psychological aspect of trading. It's what has worked for me. Right. The times where my psychology has failed me, technicals have saved me. Because my psychology isn't still strong. I haven't mastered it. Like I'm not gonna come on the podcast and lie just so I can come off as this perfect guy. No. The reason I want to teach guys is because I want them to not make the mistakes that I've made and that I'm currently making. I still make those mistakes. There are times where I can't control myself, and once I lose, I spiral.
Taking things personally.
What?
Taking things personally.
Yes, it still happens. Now, obviously, I'm no longer trading. I'm not trading for rent, right?
Yeah.
But it's just human to attach things in your head, like what you want to do with the money, and like you're just so attached to the money, right? And in those moments, and something else too that also messes me up is that I feel like I can afford to lose the money. So it's a
Yeah.
lot of things. Yeah, it's a lot of things that are involved where it's like, okay, should I take this trade? And I'm gonna now you're seeing me taking four positions for $3,000. Why am I doing that? I'm not
Yeah.
supposed to be doing that. But because I'm thinking, okay, I already have this money stashed away. If I lose it, worst that can happen is I'm gonna use that, right?
Mhm.
It enables me to create a lot of bad habits. So my challenges are different, but in times where I've saved myself, in times where I've made unimaginable amounts of money in a short amount of time, it was my technicals that saved me when I was spiraling, right? So I know that the psychological aspect of trading is more important, and that's the part that I'm working on the
Mhm.
most. I'm getting better by the day. However, so far with my skill set, the technicals has been what has saved me and is more responsible for the success that I've seen so far. It's the technicals. It's just that once I get into muddy waters, once things starts getting scary, I can't trust myself anymore. It's like,
Mm.
oh my God, what is like, how am I going to get out of this? Like, I'd rather, and the thing about trading is the more you lose, the more numb you become to losing.
Yeah.
So if I've blown 50% of my account, I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Might as well go full margin.
Hey man, I tell you something. It's like I've been there, right? You're feeling like you want to close that gap and then be like, oh shit, and it's like psychology has been the result of me blowing up my accounts, right? And a lot
Yeah,
of blowouts with girls. But I hope for your sake that you blow up, you blow more backs up. You blow more backs out. You blew more backs out than blew up accounts
best
for
believe.
your.
Best believe, man. Best believe.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, no. And what about girls? Would you say that the technicals or the psychology helped you more with girls?
Mm, interesting. I've never had to look at it that way. Let's see. Psychology. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm a fucking manipulator, man. Listen,
Go on, go on.
listen, listen. I don't know, just because of the way that I've been able to manipulate women. And this isn't me trying to be misogynist now or anything. Like our side of Twitter has the reputation for being misogynist. And I hope you timestamp this because I know it's dudes who, when they listen to this, they don't give a fuck about the trading part. They just want to hear about
Yeah.
bitches, right? So let's talk about the bitches.
Yeah, all right.
So listen, I've had so much success with girls in terms of manipulating women and owning their mind that I had to sit to myself and ask one of my friends one time, and I was like, "Bro, women dumb." Listen, man. I am, and I'm being completely honest with you. I've had to question it. I've had to question it because I think the psychological aspect is 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 the most important part for me when it comes to my success with women.
Mhm.
The technicals are cool and all. They it's kind of like they get you in because you can't just meet a woman and control her mind. The
Yeah.
technicals will get you in, but to have her hooked, right? You need to understand something, right? At this point in my life, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm single as a
Mhm.
motherfucker. However, bro, if I want to
Yeah.
get married in 6 months, I have at least four girls that I could close my eyes and do any, mini, money, mo. And anyone I pick is a solid wife. And I have them wrapped around my fingers, right? So it's a beautiful position to be in where you know that I have solid women. Everybody has holes, but how many dudes have solid women? I mean, some dudes, yeah, we're all fucking bitches. But how many dudes have solid girls? I think that that's the goal. Because at the end of the day, you could pay for pussy. There are dudes who could pay for pussy, right? But do you have solid women? And the only way I've been able to, the only way that I've been able to accomplish that is by owning their mind, the psychology behind it. Now, are all my methods ethical? No. It's a lot of shit that I do, and I'm like, damn, I hope I don't get punished for this at some point. I hope karma doesn't fuck me in the ass at some point. But
It did to me, so not trying to basically give you a spoiler alert.
wow, listen, man, listen. I'm just the thing about me is I think I'm a benevolent manipulator. I never manipulate women to do things that are not in their best interest. So it has to be mutually beneficial. I've never ruined a girl's life. I'm not the dude, who will manipulate. You know, when a guy dates a girl and then he turns into a drug addict, or he puts her onto things. No, I'm not that guy. Or who's gonna make a girl do OnlyFans and things like that for him. I mean, guys who do that, they do it. I'm not judging whatsoever. Like, get it how you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, for me, I use the manipulation to make both of us happy. We're both gonna be happy. You feel like you're getting what you want, and I feel like I'm getting what I want. Now, are there some girls, dumbasses, like feminists that I meet? Yes. And in situations like that, I don't give a fuck. You're gonna self destruct anyway, so I may as well help you. It's just that I remember one time a girl asked me, if you had to describe what it's like dating you, what would you say? And I said, it's like sending you to hell, but making you enjoy the journey and making you enjoy the trip. Because I've met, because I don't smoke and I don't drink, right?
So you don't drink?
No,
Good
I don't,
man.
right? So I go on dates and girls, they ask me, oh yeah, so what's your vice? And I'm like, nah, nothing, to be honest. Like, I'm basically just raw dog in life. I don't smoke. I have no vice. Like,
No, I love the expression "I'm raw dogging life," man. That's
yeah, man.
good.
Like, whenever I'm going through anything, I just go through it. I don't have anything that can make me. I don't have any pill that I could pop or weed that I could smoke. Nothing. I'm just going through it, right? And I'll hear them say under their breath, "Husband material,"
For fuck's
and I feel
sake.
so bad. And I just feel so bad for them. I'm like, you're about to get your life ruined, and you're saying husband material. Wow, wow. That's why I had to question the sanity and the intellect of some of these women, is because their decision making is so terrible. And one of the major reasons how I know that women don't make good decisions is because they're fucking me.
Hey, man. Hey, do you want to know something?
Hey, talk to me, man.
Man. Do you want to know something? It's when I was a recruiter.
Hmm.
Man, I remember the first day I was a recruiter. I never lied as much in my life. I never lied as much in my life. And man, I was fucking ruthless. I was ruthless. And then the
Um,
ripple effect on bitches, man. I couldn't believe it. I was toxic as fuck, right?
yeah,
And it was like catnip,
it's so
you know?
rewarding, wasn't it? It was rewarding, wasn't it?
Man, yeah, I felt like I was on top of the world, right? But humbling happens after hubris. That's what you learned after the 40K downswing you had in your binary option account, right?
Yeah,
But I was like, you feel like the king of the world and everything, and then you just think, oh, I'm just going to catch up for a lost time, right?
yeah, yeah.
But hey, that's the thing, right? You have to look at it from a perspective where as you said, benevolent dictator, right?
No, manipulator. Yeah,
Sorry,
the classic term.
manipulator.
The
Yeah,
classic term is
sorry.
benevolent dictator, but I call it benevolent manipulator.
Because at the end of the day, if you look at it, they don't have any fucking agency, right? I mean, like
They
they have
don't.
agents. I mean, like yeah, they have quote unquote like on surface level, but the same thing with how you can manipulate social proof to get them to believe that you're harder than you are. You can
Yeah.
literally manipulate them into liking you more than they would normally do, right?
Hmm.
And what happens is that that almost everything is all fugazi because it's all based upon attachment, right? And it's like if you basically create those dynamics, those hard, cold, high, lows, then it's a bit like the randomness of outcome that can then trading or gambling can get you addicted as, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't know what's gonna happen next, and there afterwards it's like she likes you not because she likes you because she doesn't know what the hell she's gonna get.
Yeah.
You're like the casino, you're like the casino owner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's completely fascinating because women would rather die arguing that this is not how they are.
Oh,
I
oh,
think that's what's most fascinating is I think that I think the reason it's so easy to manipulate women is because they're in such denial about who they actually are.
yeah, insecure. You know what I like, and to be honest, it's co-opted by guys because you should like for me. I say, hey, you know what? You should validate hoes. They are the most honest of people, of women, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and guys don't want to believe that, right? Because they're like in their Disney fantasies and everything, right? They just think, oh, but if she did like that with me, that means she's no hoe. No, man. It's just,
Yeah.
it's, and you have to understand as a guy, you have to extricate yourself that whether you want a wife or whether you want a hoe, the approach is the fucking same.
It is. Dudes don't get it. Dudes don't get it. Like when you start talking to a girl, is guys who they start talking to a girl and they start caring about things like, oh, is she a good person? Is that I don't give a fuck. Whenever I meet a woman,
Mhm.
the number one thing that I want to know is, do you want to fuck me?
That's it.
Because none of that matters. It doesn't matter if you think I'm an amazing guy, or it doesn't matter if you're going to be a great mother. If you don't want to have sex with me, none of that matters. And a lot of guys, it does not matter. The only girls that I care about are the girls who want to have sex with me. The only girls I care about pursuing a relationship with are the women who want to have sex with me. Guys will prioritize all these other things and then get shocked later on the line when she doesn't want to have sex with them because you didn't prioritize it in the beginning. Attraction,
Exactly.
sexual attraction is the basis for everything else. That's the foundation. If she doesn't want to fuck you, I don't care if she's the best woman on the planet. She doesn't want to have sex with you. It's not going to work. So every time I meet a girl, right,
Mhm.
my goal is to fuck her.
Mhm.
I don't care if I meet the Queen of England. I don't care who I meet. I'm not coming in trying to appeal to her heart.
Mhm.
I'm trying to appeal to her pussy. If her pussy doesn't respond to me, I don't give a fuck if her heart is throbbing for me. Get the fuck out of here with your heart.
It's the same thing. It's like a girl that doesn't fuck a guy doesn't care about his opinion. Same thing that a girl that you don't fuck, you don't care about her. It's the
Yes,
same.
I could give two shits. If you're not gonna have sex with me, if you don't find me sexually attractive, I don't care about the other attributes that I possess that you appreciate. You could say, "Oh, you're so kind. You're so kind. You listen." These are the things that they tell guys and have guys flattered. But she never
Mhm.
told you that you're handsome. She never told you you're so sexy. But she's telling you that you're a great guy, and she's telling you that you're
Yeah.
so thoughtful, and you're a great listener. Get the fuck. I don't care if I'm. Everybody can listen. We all have ears. Fuck you. That's not a compliment. Do you want to suck my balls? That is the question. If you don't want to do that, I don't care about anything else.
Exactly. That's it. Like guys want to complicate their life, right? And like most guys' problems is that they want to address problems that should not be addressed. It's like if she doesn't want to fuck you, that's not a problem for you to address. You
Yeah,
know,
it's as
like
simple as that. It's as
it's like
simple
that's
as that.
it.
It becomes
But
it
yeah.
becomes very simple when you narrow it down to, okay, my goal in the beginning is, does she want to have sex with me? It'll save you a lot of time. It will save you a lot of time because a woman who really likes you is a woman who wouldn't expect you to do a lot of other things and check other boxes if she wants to actually fuck you. So basically, what guys don't understand is, if you can't fuck her casually with no strings attached, you should never get into a relationship with her. She doesn't like you enough. If you have to provide all the comforts of a stable relationship in order for her to have sex with you, she doesn't find you sexually attractive. Because if she found you sexually attractive, she'll be willing to isolate the act of sex and have it with you without expecting the other things.
Exactly, because you don't want. Yeah, good. Sorry.
And only those women deserve the other things from
Exactly.
you. From you. The only women who deserve the nice bags, later, like the only women who deserve to be provided for and you willing to risk your life for and all of those things are the women who see you as a sexual being, who want to fuck you.
That's simple. But the thing is, you know what? It's almost like, if you start making a distinction between wife material and non-wife material, you pre-select yourself to be a husband material because
Yes.
you're gonna start changing your behavior with the girls that you're successful with to the girls that you're not successful with, almost manifesting the fact that you're not going to be successful with that other girl. That's the first bit. The second bit is you're already pre-setting the stage for chore play, right? Meaning by that, oh, if I basically fit, box ticks all of those tasks that you expect me to do, I'm gonna have sex with my wife or my girlfriend. Gonna have sex with me. The thing is,
Yeah.
if your girl needs to basically keep a tally in order for you to have sex with her, you ain't getting sex. You're getting a pity, like a pity party. Like that's
Yeah.
like sex should not feel transactional. If it feels transactional, then it will create resentment, not only on your end but also on her end. It's like, oh, you know what, hubby, this is, you've been a good boy, you give me a good dog. Yeah, here's some cookie. The guy doesn't want it, and even the girl feels like, oh my god. Like even there's a TikTok about this is when I promised my husband to, to give it up, but I'm feeling tired. So many views because so many guys are actually putting themselves in that situation.
Yeah. It's actually crazy. One thing I find, like, one thing I can't even understand, like, it's beyond me, is when I see dudes, you see these videos online where you're hearing dudes say shit like, I could get some tonight. Listen, if you can't fuck your girl, like, listen, I'm not talking about grape, right? But if you can't fuck your girl whenever you want, I feel bad for you. If I was you, I'll kill myself. If your girl, listen, right? When I'm in a relationship, and this may sound bad, I don't even get excited fucking my girl because I know I can fuck her whenever I want. Fucking my girl is not something worth celebrating. If I can't fuck my girl, who can I fuck?
That's a point, actually.
I mean, you hear guys saying, oh, my girl told me I could get some tonight. You couldn't? You couldn't get some last night? You couldn't, wait, hold on. You couldn't get some the night before? She told you you're going to get some tonight and you're excited? I don't get excited if my girl wants to have sex with me because I know I can do it whenever I want to. If I wake up in the morning, I can hit it. If I'm chilling at home and she just looks sexy, I can hit it. Who dictates when sex happens is who controls the relationship. If your girlfriend is telling you not tonight, if your girlfriend is saying things like, well, honey, maybe if you take out the trash, you could get some tonight, you're
Yeah.
cooked. You're cooked.
Man,
You're cooked.
like if you're in a situation like this as a guy, right? Like, okay, it's fine. We basically threw the shit at you, right? But if you find yourself in a situation like this as a guy, the girls already expect you to not, she's the only sole provider of sex. Therefore, she feels a leverage. Therefore, you as a guy, you know, have been given her too much comfort that she becomes lazy, right? You know, a girl likes you. Yeah, you know, a girl likes you because she makes effort for you, because otherwise, baseline factor, she's lazy as fuck, right? So if you give too much comfort, she'll become lazy, right? So what you create is you create discomfort. How do you create discomfort? Is by making her feel she has competition, right? Which is also another factor of social proof, right? Or even though you may not want to cheat, you put yourself in a position where you can cheat. Whether you do it or not is a matter of personal ethics. And once she's aware that you're not as available, she won't treat you as you are very disposable like she did. And that's, yeah, I mean, do you have anything to say to this?
Yeah, it does work. Social proof. I think it's called dread game. Where she feels like there's some sort of competition. Some guys don't elicit any sort of attention from other women. It's guys who they're dating a girl and the girl is even worried to send a picture of him to her friends because she knows he's gonna get cooked. This is the reality. It's easy to talk
Yeah.
about one side, but it's a lot of it's a lot of varied experiences that guys are going through. So some guys are never going to be that physically attractive where they're going to be able to draw in that type of sexual attention from other women to arouse their own women, which is why that book, what I was talking about in the book, is important, right?
Yeah.
However, what you're saying is spot on. If you're the type of guy who, your girl shows picture of you to her friends and she's like, oh my God, he looks good. That helps. She knows that you're the type of man that other women desire. So she knows that she has some work on her hands. She has to keep you satisfied. But if you're the dude who is asking for sex, if you're the dude who has no danger to him, there never even any up, like you don't even spend some time, coming home late from work. She knows you're going to be home at 5 and your dickhead ass is going to be at home at 5, ready. Honey, I'm home, right? There's no edge to you. You're just the guy. You're just a dude. There are no rough edges. You're the most predictable piece of shit that exists on the planet. She knows your every move. She knows that there's nothing you can do to upset her. She knows that no woman wants you. She knows you're not out there hunting. You are cooked because she feels like she can control everything. For some guys, I think that I know you said, oh yeah, act like you could cheat. For some guys, these dudes may have to cheat.
Yeah. I mean, hey, man,
But what I mean by that is, okay, so because sometimes you hit the point of no return.
yeah.
When it's like, damn, you're outnumbered by 10 in a war. You just have to pull out your grenade and blow everybody up, including yourself.
Yeah.
That's where some guys are.
Yeah.
It's like the dread game won't work anymore. It's too late. She's already seen through you. It's like, dudes who, they've never put their girl in place. And one day they stand up for themselves and it's just like a joke. Like, are you serious right now? Dude, I can't take you seriously. You spent 4 years being a bitch and now you want to stand up for yourself. Oh, please. Right.
Yeah.
So he has to
Yeah.
go to the extreme. That's why it's dudes like that who hit their girl because speaking doesn't work anymore. So he has to go to the extreme and hit her. This is the equivalent of hitting her, but not hitting her. You have to go all out and actually cheat, but you have to be willing to lose her, which most guys can't. So they're
Yeah,
scared.
whenever you're in a relationship, there is that saying about whoever cares less has the most control, right? It's about
Absolutely.
it's about the fear of loss. Everybody has fear of loss, right?
We all do. That's for sure.
Everybody has, but when you look at relative terms, there's a person that has the most fear of loss versus the other one that is in the frame of the other one. And once you're in that position, it's so hard because you draw too much, I don't know, validation, identification, whatever that is, to the other person. Therefore, what happens is you don't want to take that risk because you'll suffer such a big ego loss that the fact that you're not with her is worse than you being with her physically, even though emotionally you're not. And it's hard for people to understand that actually by you going counterintuitive to what you think would do better is going to yield better result. Not necessarily, but if you don't go for the win, you're playing to lose. It's the same thing as, let's say you're a team, right? And you're always like, you watch football, right?
Yeah, I do.
All right, cool. Like if you're in a league, right? You've got relegation, and you've got the winning. The people that go Champions League or winning team, right?
Yeah.
The team that look for the draws, right? Most of the time, that look not to lose. They'll never win the league.
Yeah.
But they'll most likely get relegated.
Absolutely.
The teams that are looking for the win understand that defeat is part of the game, and they're way less affected by the defeat. And going back onto the trading thing that you mentioned, right, which is once you get to lose, you get more used to numbs you, right? But it can numb you in two different ways. It can numb you in a way where, well, I'm 50% down on my bankroll, might as well go all in, right?
Yeah.
To catch up, which is not the right way, right? But when a single loss or even a series of 10 losses doesn't affect you anymore, and you keep on to your strategy and you keep on doing what you need to do, you know that you'll make it up in the future because you'll have a streak of 20 wins coming in, because you understand the randomness factor overshadows the short-term output, the short-term results. And that's the same thing with guys. The thing is, for guys to be good with girls, they need to have lost a lot of girls, because then afterwards, losing one doesn't mean as much, and you can take more risk with more, what do you call it, peace of mind,
Bro,
and
listen,
manipulate better. Yeah, go ahead.
what you just said right now, right? Thank you. And the reason I'm saying thank you is because I never viewed it that way. If I treated trading the way I treated hoes, I swear to God, I'll be 10 times better. I will be 10 times better, because that's exactly how I treat women. I treat them as expendable. I know another one is coming along. I know that in the end, I'm going to win. In the end, I'm going to get what I want, right? But I swear to God, my trading psychology is like that of a simp.
And you know how to make a formula, like you know how to drop for some punchlines, man.
I swear to God, the way you said it right now, I just felt like a bitch. I actually did feel like a bitch, because I treat, as someone who's so proficient when it comes to things that have to do with women. And I mean, the technical side of trading, I think I'm pretty good at that. But psychologically, I'm a simp when it comes to trading, because I hold on to every loss. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose you. And it's just 2%, right? There are times where I've blown my account trying to chase an extra 3% because I haven't hit my target for the day.
I have no fucking target for the day. No, it's like, I mean,
So you,
target for the day on the loss side, yes. Say, for example, if you hit like 5 or 10 loss or whatever, I don't know, whatever it's, is in the binary option world,
mhm,
you just move on, right?
yeah,
But on the upside is, okay, well, how many times did I find the right setup? All right, I found the right setup 3 times. There's no point having a target for the day on the upside if there's no more setups that you find, because then on an average, your expected value of those trades is going to be negative, and then negative. So you're going to be losing more money doing more trades because you didn't find the setup from the technicals that you found. Does it make
okay.
sense?
Yeah, okay. So let me tell you the problem. Let me tell you one of the issues that I have, and I don't know how you trade. I don't know if you're one of those people who you have one strategy and you stick to it over and over again, right? So with binary options, in my experience, I've tried everything, but I have tried everything. I've tried all the strategies. I've tried all the indicator strategies and everything, and none of that works. It's pure price action.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the method that I use, which is most consistent and most successful, is combining different price action principles.
Okay. A
So supply,
conflation. A
yes,
conflation. Yeah.
confluence, right? That, right? And if I see four reasons to take a trade, it may not be the same setup as the last trade that I took, but if I have enough reasons, I take it. And I
Okay.
think that what you said right now may actually be a good thing. I think I may just have to stick to a set of price action principles that I want to see at the same time and call that my setup. Find the setup and confirmation and stick to it over and over again, right? Because then I can have a better accurate estimation of my win rate because I'm doing the same thing over and over again. Because right now, I just trade a naked chart
Mm-hmm.
and I use I combine different price action concepts and take trades, the highest probability trades, and I'm doing pretty well doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of curbing the tendency for me to overtrade, I think I need to have one setup that I look for over and over again. So at least I take more time. Because in one situation, I may just be in a supply and demand zone and,
Mm-hmm.
it's crossing with a trend line and I take a trade. And then in the next 5 minutes, I see, I'm at a resistance zone that just broke and I'm trying to take a third Dodge breakout and it's something else shortly after because my brain is just moving all over the place, trying to find any opportunities in the market with as much confluences that I could find. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not like I'm looking for the same thing over and over again. That's why it's hard for me to take a step back and wait because I'm not looking for one thing. There's always opportunity with the way that I trade. So I don't know if you recommend that I just have one thing that I do over and over again.
What my first line of thinking based on what you're telling me right now is look at, maybe, I don't know, like, let's say you have 5 strategies, right? Look
Yeah.
at, like, back, look back, draw, I mean, I hope you can basically download your results, right? And you can basically segment each of those trades based upon those 5 strategies, right? And look at the the one that brought you the most result over a high enough sample,
Hmm.
and focus on the 1 and 2, right? And then not only will you trade less, but if you trade with the most profitable ones, then you're going to increase your strike rate, which is more than important, because if you're like in trading, right, you either have the strike rate or you have the amount of money you make from trades, right?
Yeah.
So if, because of binary option, the upside is capped, you need to basically improve your strike rate much higher,
Yeah.
because that's, it's less about the amount of money when you win that matters. It's more about how many times you lose.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So taking stuff, say for example, with strategy 1, you have, let's say, 80% strike rate, right? But strategy 5, you've got 60% strike rate. You're still doing good because technically you're at you need to have above 54% strike rate.
Yeah.
But if you look at it from that perspective, right, where, like, okay, well, I still have a delta of 6% between the 60%, between the 60% win of the
Hmm.
strategy 5, but because you're going to have 40% loss, you may not grow as exponentially as if you
Trading
just
part.
focus on the first two, and on the first 2 strategies.
Yeah.
And it really depends upon where, like, if what you're doing with strategy 3, 4, 5 are there to compensate for volume that you don't have with 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
It really depends upon the distribution of the trades, in terms of where do you get the most money, and do you get the most money out of lack of trades based, or do you get the most money out of the quality of the setup on top of the amount of trades you have? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get it. I
Uh,
totally get it. I totally get it. Yeah. I mean, I'm doing pretty good doing what I'm doing right now, but you have to keep refining what it is that you're doing. So that's basically why I'm asking the things that I'm asking right now because I still know that there's room for improvement. I'm not going to be arrogant and be like, oh my God, I already have it figured out and I'm just going to stick. No, I know that there's a problem somewhere. I know that there's a lot of things that I could change. I know that I could do better. I know that there's still a lot of upsides to this, even though I'm, able to make consistent profits. I just know that, even though I'm making consistent profits, bro, all it takes is one bad day and I can hit you up and be like, bro, I blew it. I swear to God. I swear to God. So I know that there's room for improvement, even when it has to do with risking. You know, when they say, "Oh yeah, use 1% of your balance." The thing with binary options is that in certain instances you have to martingale.
Oh, really? Oh my God. You know, it's so funny because I made a post about emotional martingale, which is generally going to bring you to fucking bankruptcy. I mean, give me an example uh, of the martingale with binary options.
Okay, so you place a trade, right? Because it's for most people are hanging around anywhere between 40 or 60% win rate, right? So, and if you're making 92%, let's say you're only trading pairs that have a 92% payout, right? And you're hanging out around 50 to 60% win rate. You will have to martingale in certain situations to be in profit. So let's say you take a trade of $100 and you lose, right? If you take another trade of $100 and you win, you're not breaking even. You're still short of $8.
Yeah.
So which means if you have a 50% win rate and you take 10 trades worth $100 each, even if you win 5 and
You're
lose
not,
5,
yeah, you're
you're
fucked.
still losing.
Yeah.
Right? So basically the martingale strategy is basically this with binary options is you have to choose your cap. You have to choose where you stop. The problem with most people, including me, is we don't know where to stop. So we do the first martingale, the first step, the second step, third step, and now you're at a point where it's like, fuck it, let's blow the whole building down. And you let it all fly, right? So let's say you lose your first trade and you place a trade of $100 and you lose it. Now you have to double and take another trade of 200 so
But
that you
what,
can cover your loss and be in profit.
yeah. But aren't you just looking at the short-term results, not looking at, let's say, over a course of, let's say, 100 trades? Say, for example, you have a 60% strike rate or even a 58% strike rate, which is still better than the 56% win you get. Because say for example you put 100, right, and you get 192. Technically, it's 46%, 46.54, right?
Yeah.
So technically, it's about you need to have at least win above 54% in order to win. So when you look at it, right, why do you have to martingale soon after the first trade? If you believe that over a sample of 100 trades or 1,000 trades, you're going to basically be making 56% and you're going to be winning. Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But the difference is when you set a daily target. So let's say you're like, okay, I'm going to make, because with binary options, the daily targets are kind of unrealistic. I'm not going to lie. You know, with Forex, I see people saying, oh, 3% of my account a month. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We're trying to make 10% per day. What are you talking about? Right? I'm I'm being honest with you, right? And it's doable. I've done it, like I've done it consistently. My sister has done it consistently. There are people who do it consistently, making 10% a day. That's why I said binary options, if you know what you're doing, it's actually insane the amount of money that you're making, because with Forex, you're predicting the direction of the market. With binary options, you're predicting the next candle. So if you put me in a Forex market right now, right, I wouldn't know how to trade. I know how to trade binary options.
Yeah.
Predicting the next candle. So for instance, let's say you're in the downtrend. Let me tell you why we martingale and why it makes sense for us, right? If you're in a downtrend, obviously it's going to be bearish candles, red candles all over the place. So if you take a trade and you took a sell position, right? You put a put and you were expecting a red candle, like you entered at the opening of the candle, at the opening of the next 1 minute candle, and you were predicting a red candle and you ended up getting a green one. You're thinking, in the next 4 candles, it's a downtrend. I'm going to fucking get a red candle. What the fuck is going on? So you've predicted the direction of the market. You've identified the trend. So now you're predicting it candle by candle analysis. You're using double candlestick patterns, triple candlestick patterns, right? Supply and demand zones, right? And all of that, and combining it to, and the direction of the market and market structure and all of that and tendencies. You're using all of that to predict the next candle. With Forex, you can't really martingale because the risk to reward is a little bit more healthy. Like depending on how long you let a trade run, you can make triple, quadruple of the money that you put in. With, like you said, with binary options, it's capped. So when you lose and if you have a streak of losses, it's harder to get back, and you need the mental fortitude to be okay with the drawdown for as long as it's going to take for your edge to play out. Because I understand what you're saying. You're talking about the edge. Like if you're over 100 trades, if your strategy is 60%, you will be in profit at some point. The thing that bothers on binary options traders psychologically is how long are you willing to wait for that edge to play out where you're in profit? Do you want to trade for a whole month and you've made 2% of $1,000, $20?
No, but hold on. You have to look at it from a turnover perspective, right? Say, for example, how many trades you made, how many $100 trades you made over the months?
No, I take smaller sizes now. I trade 0.3% of my account.
Okay,
That's my first trade.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go. I'll just make an example. It doesn't have to be your stuff, so that you understand, right? If you have a 2% edge, right? If you have a 2% edge, but let's say you placed 100 trades at $100, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gives you 10,000. If you make 2%, that's $200, $200, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But then you know that your edge is there, right? But ideally, you don't want your edge to be just base 2%. It's better to focus more on making less trades, but have a much bigger edge. Say, for example, that every time that you see strong supply zones, you take a put option, right?
Yeah.
You know that 80% of the time, 90% of the time, it's going to be a reversal, right? Because odds are it's not going to be a breakout.
Yeah.
But then and I'm talking purely theoretically, right? Like those numbers, don't quote me on those numbers, but purely theoretically. Once you find those setups, right, for reversal type of stuff, right, you're looking at an edge, say 80%, right? I'm going to be 80%. You're looking at an edge of 24%, no, 26%. You're looking at an edge of 26%, right? So you have an edge of 26%, and let's say you do 100 trades, at $100, you're looking at $2,600 for the same amount of trades, but by just focusing on the bigger edge, by selecting the top the top setups. Obviously, maybe it may not necessarily be 100 trades. It may be 20 trades, right? Okay, so it's 2,000. If I'm dividing that by 5, right? 2,500, 2,600. That's still 500. That's about $500 you're making. More than the $200 you're making from a 2% edge over 100 trades. And on top of that, you're paying less to the brokers.
Yeah. But yeah,
From a pure mathematical perspective, right?
Yeah.
You get the idea.
But okay, yeah, that's completely that's completely true, right? Everything you're saying is true. And then I'll tell you my challenges, right? Patience.
Nigga, I know.
Listen, right? I'm being honest with you. I'm not gonna sit here and lie, right?
Yeah.
Patience. You see, waiting for that perfect setup, right? Especially because of like I told you, you're predicting the next candle. So imagine this, right? Imagine, because with Forex, right, the price can go up 500 peeps in order for you to make good money. Whereas if you have if you want to take $100 trade with binary options, even if you win even if let's say you take a call position, right?
Yeah.
And the price goes above your entry by 1 point, you just made $920 in less than a minute, and you can even put a 15-second trade. So it's like you're sitting there thinking, wait, I have to sit here and wait for 1 hour for a setup when I could just. That's what I'm telling you. With binary options, the challenge that most people have is fighting your gambler mindset.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So yes,
yeah.
What you're saying is absolutely true. And what it will require to is, like you said, it will require more risk, right? Because in order for you to take fewer trades and make more, I think you need to increase your risk a little bit. And that's a little bit scary psychologically, especially.
I have another option for you.
Talk to me.
All right. Have to, if in order to kind of like alleviate, still taking into account the gambling mindset, but alleviate the risk, right? I have two type of trades, right? I have the high confidence trade, and the medium confident trade, and basically halve the percentage of exposure between the high confidence trade and the low confident one. Basically, the high confident trades, once you have the confluence of factors, right?
Mhm.
You basically put, I'm going to use, and I know you said 0.3%, right? But I'm going to use 1% and 2%, so it's simpler, right? High confidence trade, 2%. Medium confidence trade, 1%.
Yeah, we call that dynamic money management. I'm very familiar with it, right? And that's what I'm actually working on right now is being dynamic with it. Actually, this is what I'm thinking. 5% for confident trades and 1% for trades that I'm not confident in.
Yeah.
So if I take 4 trades that I'm not confident in, I've used 4%. And when I see that good trade, I can cover up my losses and still be in profit.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect way to do it, right? It's just the most important thing that you said here today. The most important suggestion that you made to me is not having a daily target, because that daily target, I'm too ambitious to not hit it, right? I'm too ambitious to be okay not hitting it. So whenever I'm in a drawdown, I want to hit it so bad that I'll end up blowing my account. So, or I take a bigger drawdown than I'm supposed to, because right now, the most that I want to risk in a day is 10%. Like, I don't want to go below 10% on any given day. Have I failed on a couple of days? Absolutely.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's basically it. But I have my daily target of 15%, because I don't think it's going to make any sense for your daily profit targets to be less than your daily loss target. So if you're willing to lose 10%, there's no way your daily target should be 5%. Do you get what I'm saying? Because then you can't recover.
I get it, because there's two, like, I've had so many trading days, man. It's like, say for example, like, I remember when I was trading football at the beginning, like, I could go and have like days where I was 500 pound up or 1,000 pound up, and then fucking blow up and go back to break even at the end of the day. And it felt like it felt so much shit. However, if I was 500 down or 1,000 down and I would make up all the loss afterwards, it felt like a win, even though the result is exactly the same.
Wow.
And man, like, anyway, and also another thing is, like, I paid for my university fees mostly from poker. I mean, only from poker. And like, I used to play a lot of tournaments, and in tournaments, only 10 to 12% of people gets paid. Right. So you could go on downswings. And on top of that, each tournament's like, for you to win them, you can go from, let's say, 3 to 4 hours to fucking like days. Right. And imagine you go on 2 days tournament and then you make maybe 2x the amount that you invested. Feels like a ripoff, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it really teaches you patience, right? And on others, like, all of the money is basically in the final table. So you're like, okay, well, I could go on days without meeting my daily target, right? But when I stopped thinking about daily target for, like, even cash game, right, and tournaments, it just made my life so much easier, because I didn't put the mental stress on me to achieve something. And if I was to go back and review, like, onto girls, right, I don't know, like, if you did like a lot of cold approaching, or if you did like, like, when you were going for girls, right, did you feel like you need to have a daily target? Did you feel that even for every girl that you go on a date, you need to fuck her? No, most likely.
No.
And to be honest, there's not that much difference, because when you operate with a girl that is like, you don't really care whether fucking or not, you're most likely gonna fuck her. But if you really care about fucking her, then you're not gonna fuck her. And it's like,
Absolutely.
and the daily target is kind of like you forcing yourself to try to fuck the girl, but will you actually achieve that? Do you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
almost
bro.
like the let go side of things. I think there's a lot more, let's say, parallels between trading and getting girls, right? But we're ambitious. I know, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But if you have a goal with a girl, generally that's generally that you're gonna fuck yourself up, because with girls it's better to let go than have a specific goal with them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I can't even argue with that whatsoever. It's crazy how this entire time until I have this conversation with you right now, I haven't been able to draw the parallel between the similarities between actually getting girls and the way that I traded. Because it's crazy how I could be so proficient and have perfect understanding of this side of one side, and on this other side, although the principles are quite similar now that you've explained it to me, but I drew a blank. I was never able to find a correlation between both. But now I have a new perspective. So thank you so much for that, man. I really appreciate it.
And who knows, if that can, increase or improve the stuff, I'll be more than happy. I'm not here trying to teach you stuff. I'm trying to give perspective and potentially, sometimes people just marinate on what other people say, and and the pennies drop. Maybe it's a bit of me, maybe something as well from that you hear from a YouTube stuff. Like, it really, really depends. And
But that's
I
really
want
valuable. I really appreciate it, man. And I mean that. Thanks.
thanks, hey,
Yeah.
man. There's always a old head I am. I mean, well, if you like options. I mean, do you know a little bit more about financial options outside of binary?
No. That's what I told you. I said trade like binary options is trading for dummies. I think that the traditional forms of trading like futures and stocks, all of these other things, bro. I hate when people say, "Oh, I'm checking the news," CPI. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. For me, I just think that that's just too like I just because the reason I appreciate the reason I prefer binary options is yes, you can still trade news and fundamental analysis, but when you're trading the OTC market, which is basically a simulation, so they basically
Yeah.
take old charts and simulate it, so you're going strictly based off price action. There's no news effect in the market. Trump isn't going to say some shit, and investors are going to be mad, and you see a drop. No, none of that. You're just going strictly off. So if you want to take out the fundamental aspect of trading and trade strictly fundamentals, binary options is it for you. But if you want all the other elements, all the other influences in the market, and you want to put all that into consideration, and you enjoy the game of checking news and riding the wave of the news, or this news is being released and unemployment rates and things like that, then Forex is the better option. Although that can still apply to binary options because we still have real markets because there are people who trade news strictly on binary options. When those spikes happen, when the news drops, there are people who trade that. They wait for that and take the retracement immediately. And with binary options, you just need 1 point. You don't need a lot of pips.
Yeah.
1 point you've won, depending on the direction that you picked, whether it's a buy or a sell.
But
So the people who trade that only.
that's the
Yeah.
other thing which I'm a bit I won't say worried, but I'd have a look at is if the broker is making a simulation of it, right? And obviously, I understand that you're saying it's technically a peer-to-peer market where what you trade against is someone is trading for, right?
Yeah.
Is if they're manipulating the market, not manipulating, but kind of like if they're making the market a certain way, right, as a simulation to the main market, then what stops them from actually shifting the price to fuck you over? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's kind of like my thought process.
Yeah, but that's definitely been a concern for a lot of people. But you need to understand something. Wherever you are right now, you and 5 other people can be taking the same trade and your outcomes will be different. You're not going to win a trade and I lose a trade. Like the broker is never going to target one particular person and be like, you. There are like millions of people trading on the platform. They cannot pay attention to every single person and manipulate the charts for just one person to lose. Everybody's losing. You need to understand, just like it's like, I mean, how many people are profitable trading? Most people are losing.
Yeah.
The broker is making way more money from people just coming there to waste their money. They know that most people aren't traders. They know that most people are just coming there to lose their money. They don't need to do any of those things. Did I have these doubts initially? Yes, until I was making huge withdrawals for them and I'm receiving my money. Now there are people there was there a time I blew my accounts because the withdrawal was taking too long. Yes, and this is why when I'm talking to guys about it, I'll let them know you need to be calm. It's a lot of the brokers are fishy, but it's not with the charts. It's with the other things. It's like, okay, yeah, you just made 5 grand. You just made 6 grand. They check your trades and see that, oh, he has a 30% win rate, which means he lost 8 in a row and put his whole balance on one trade, and now he's made this huge profit. He's a gambler. So let's slow down. Let's wait a little bit and see what he's gonna do.
Makes
Now, if
sense.
you don't,
Makes
yes.
sense. Makes
Now,
sense
so
because
if you don't have the emotional control, you would end up blowing your account because you're a gambler.
The other thing that I'm thinking is it makes more sense for the broker. I mean, unless I'm missing something on the economics of it, it makes more sense on the broker that you keep returning customers because it increases the turnover rate, which means that you increase their.
Yeah. Because right now on the platform, I'm a VIP, right? So we have personal assistants, like from the company. So I know how the inner workings of everything goes right now, right? And if they have a bad reputation for not paying people, I mean, they put everything down. It's like, hey, this is the amount of time it could take, and we receive our payments in cryptocurrency. mean, you could get it directly to your bank, but it depends on the country that you're in, right? But most of the payments happen through cryptocurrency anyway, and you're going to get it eventually. It's just that you see the concerns that you have right now. Let's say you come into binary options with this mindset of, oh, something is sketchy and I don't really trust these people, and you make huge profits and you try to withdraw and there's a delay and it's been 2 days and you haven't received your money in your crypto wallet. You panic and blow your account, and then you'd be like, they're a scam. No, 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 no. They know what they're doing, right? Because there's a queue. There's a queue when you place a withdrawal. Your turn is going to come and they're going to pay you out. But you panicked because you came with all these preconceived notions that, oh my God, they're going to do something shady. And it's happened to me. I blew my account, literally. I was waiting for a 20K withdrawal. They declined my shit for extra verification because that was like the first time I was withdrawing that amount of money. So they declined it and asked for a selfie and, hold a paper and write this so we know it's you. I was like, oh my God, I've read all that shit on Reddit. That binary options industry is a scam. Oh my God, they're never going to give me my money. So the money on my account started looking like paper money. I stopped taking it seriously. I detached from it. And then I blew my account. So
And
things like that happen.
They can pay you. They can pay you in dollars. They can pay you in crypto. Or they're just crypto.
No, they can pay you in dollars if you want to, but it depends on the country that you're in.
Okay, fine, fair enough.
So your deposit method would determine how you withdraw. Like for you now, you're in England. The options available to you are cryptocurrencies, and you could also deposit with your bank cards, but you can't withdraw to your bank because binary options is banned in the UK.
Is it done in the UK now?
Yes, you can't operate a binary options legally in the UK because they consider it gambling.
Bloody hell! It's like it's a fucking gambling country of the world.
Yeah, so that's what they consider it. So you can only withdraw. The best way to withdraw, which is the fastest way actually, is through cryptocurrency, but they will pay you 100 grand, 200 grand, 50 grand, 5 grand, 3 grand, doesn't matter. If you make your money, they're going to pay it to you. They may stress you out because of money laundering, because some people come on there, deposit money, they won't trade, and then they want to take the money back. And it's like, are you trying to clean your money through our website? Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, sometimes people do dumb things and then go and write the bad reviews. Like you came here, right, put your money in and you just want to take it out through another method. That's money laundering. So they're going to stop the withdrawal and ask you what's going on. And people get scared and, oh my God, I got scammed. But coming from someone who has been in it, for a while, I can tell you right now that are there things that are questionable? Yes, there are things that are going to make you, take a step back and be like, oh my God, right? But they're doing that intentionally so that you could fuck yourself over. But they're not going to fuck you over. If you're patient enough, they're going to give you your money, right? But every other thing, like in terms of chart manipulation and things like that, like even in the real market, things like that happen anyway. There are times where you get spiked out of the trade, where it's like in the last 3 seconds, it will go above your entry and or below, and you lose a trade. And people will be like, oh my God, they targeted me. But there are also times where you're literally losing a trade and it'll spike you in and you win. And then who manipulated that?
Yeah, no, but like, don't get me wrong. I had like, I think a lot of people thought the same when online poker came in, right? And I made my withdrawal from online poker, and like I knew that randomness again, right? Randomness, because if you look at it from a high enough sample, you know that things tend to generally even out. Generally, what are the time, like what are generally the time delay in terms of between your between your withdrawal request to your delivery of the money? Why is generally the transaction?
Oh, how long it takes for you to get your money? Okay, that's another thing that's controversial. It depends. So like, it depends on the queue, right? So, and the time of the day. So sometimes I've received money in 25 minutes and I've received money in a day. There are people who wait 3 days on their user agreement contracts. You're gonna see 3 to 14 business days. But
3 to 14 business days.
Listen,
damn.
That's what they say, but I've never had to wait that long. They do that just in case, because they're a broker, and in the binary option space, broker basically means we're okay. You're all trading on this platform. We will take the money from the losers and give it to the winners, and then take our commission from that transaction. That's why they care about turnover, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes, let's say if you put in like a 30K, 40K withdrawal, they're not going to prioritize you over everyone else that made smaller withdrawals. So they're just going to keep adding up to your money, and then when it's complete, then they pay you out. So if you withdraw like 15K, they're not going to pay you in 25 minutes like when they paid me when I made a $2,500 withdrawal. So there's some nuances to it, but would you get your money 150%? think because a lot of times people stress out about these things, and I've been one of those people. And the reason I'm talking against it is because it's cost me money. Me panicking, me going on Reddit and seeing, oh my God, it's scam, and all of that getting into my head has made me blown so many accounts that I wasn't supposed to blow because it messed with my psychology, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if I was just patient, it's like, think about it, right? If you make 25 grand, or okay, now, if I tell you, I'm going to give you 25 grand in a month, are you going to complain? Okay. Right. So if you made 25 grand on a broker, right? And it's taken 5 days, why are dudes complaining? You're gonna get your money. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right. So
I totally get what you're saying. It's just the
yeah,
dread and the anxiety behind it, right? Because the
yeah,
first time, like you dip your toes, yeah, no.
absolutely. That fucked me over too. Yeah. But bro, we've spent so much time talking about trading. It's almost like
I
this.
know,
It's almost
but
like this
that's
is
my
a
point.
trading podcast. Let's go back to the
No,
hose, man.
no. But actually, that's my point. Actually, I've got an idea. Like, would you say that over the years, the interest behind money and women just started to shift from women to money?
Yeah, as I get older, for sure.
Yeah.
Because you start realizing that a nut is gonna get busted anyway, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it all ends at a nut. Yes, you can start a family. Yes, you can have kids and all of these other things. But if it's not something you want to do in the moment, like next year, you're not in a committed relationship right now, that could possibly lead to marriage in a short time.
Mhm.
It's just nuts that you're like you're just busting nuts. That's basically what it is, right?
Nuts
So
for naught.
yeah. What did you say?
Nuts for naught.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it. So
Yeah.
technically, it's yeah.
So yeah, you start having to prioritize the things that actually do matter, and money tends to be one of those things as a man, regardless of how much game it is that you have. Women are only one aspect of life because money is a lot of things. It's not just for women and how girls find you attractive because you have the excess resources at your disposal. It's freedom, it's power, it's a whole other things that contributes to a lot of aspects that make you a man, right? So yes, my focus is, and there's not much I can learn again when it comes to women. I think I've conquered that. Every woman in
Mhm.
my life understands how it is. I can understand why guys obsess about it because they're still having women problems. But I think that having women problems is a rookie move. And what I mean by women problems, I don't mean that you're struggling to get girls. I mean women are a problem in your life, which means you have a girlfriend who's always arguing with you. It's like, why is she still in your life? Like any woman in my life understands that she has only one option, and that's be pleasant. If you're not pleasant, you're gonna get the fuck out of here. Now, I'm not saying that the girl, I mean, you're gonna have arguments. Like disagreements are part of life, but
Mhm.
if it's happening consistently enough for it to become a problem, you're gonna have to go.
That's
And
it.
if you approach relationships and you approach all your interactions with women with that mindset, women can never be a problem in your life because it's either she's pleasant or you
She
don't have any
fucks
woman at
off.
all, or she could
Exactly.
fuck off. Sincerely, right? So when I see dudes, worrying about things like this, I understand that maybe they're not at a point in their life where they can afford to lose women. Because I can afford to lose women, right? It's just like what we're talking about with trading. I'm scared to lose, and I ride it till the wheels fall off. Not with women. With women, I understand that okay, yeah, this bitch can leave if she wants to. I can afford to lose her. I'm gonna get another one. So that aspect of my life is conquered. When it comes to money, that's just a part of your life that it could fuck you up. You could go the rest of your life and not have a wife, but it's never going to be as bad when you make the wrong financial mistakes earlier in your life, and it fucks you over forever.
Man,
So
like thing is, women are fun, but they can also be costly, personally and financially, if you make the wrong decisions.
absolutely,
So, right. I've seen that myself, right? Like, whereas before, like you're young, you're like, you know what? I don't want a woman that likes me for my money. I just want a woman that likes me for me. So you'd rather not even care about the money so much, right? But then, as you get older, you need the money just because it's kind of like you got used to a certain type of lifestyle, and you're like, and money also comes part of the package, right? In the sense of you cannot be a certain age without money. Otherwise, no matter amount of game, you're gonna still seem like a loser. You see what I'm saying?
absolutely,
And actually, what was the thing, right? Like considering exactly that mindset, right? Of either you be pleasant or you get the fuck off. If you think about it this way, right? I'm going to rope in the subject that originally wanted me to have a chat with you, which was, are men or women the prize, right? Because technically, what you're just describing here, right, of telling them to fuck off, is you're the prize, right? So they have to appeal to you in order for them to stay in your life, rather than the opposite. Can you develop more the point of why you thought women were the prize?
Okay. Actually, I didn't say women are the prize. I said exceptional men are the prize.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you did DM me that, but I was like, okay, I'll just clarify when we,
Okay,
when we
cool.
get an opportunity to get on the podcast. So
Perfect.
what I meant was this, right? Let me elaborate on what I meant by that, right? To the average man, the woman is the prize. You have to become something worth having to become the prize. You're not the prize because you have a penis.
Mm-hmm.
To think that, men are the price as a general statement, I think that that's a wild thing to say, right? Now, did I used to believe that? Yes. But when you look at the world, that's not what it seems. If you notice, and I think it's just just strictly going off observation. Women complain about the exceptional men. When women say, oh, men are fuckboys, men are assholes, men just want one thing, they're talking about you and I. They're not talking about the dude on Twitter who's saying modern women don't want, like, those are not the dudes that they're complaining about. Women complain about exceptional men. Men complain about average women.
Yeah, because a lot of these women are average.
Yes, because a lot of these women are average, but the men are not getting them either. Women are not complaining that they can't get men. Women are complaining that they can't get an exceptional man for themselves to act right. So you don't hear women complain. The only thing they can be like, oh yeah, he's a creep. When they say guys are creep, they're talking about unattractive men. But when they're complaining about, oh, I want love, why can't I find a guy? And why is it that all guys are always talking to other girls? And why can't I just find it? They're not talking about Joe Blow. They're not talking about these guys. So when I said that, to the average man, the woman is the price because they're always complaining about average women. They can't get pussy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas women can't get the exceptional man that they want. They can't get the 6 foot tall, the rich guy, the guy who has charisma, the guy who has game, the guy who has social proof, the guy who has all the social clout. They can't get, that's the guy that they're crying that wouldn't be faithful. Whereas men are just complaining about the girl next door who wouldn't give him a chance.
Yeah. And, it's going towards, they can technically get it. Technically, I'm talking, right? Which is, you can't fuck the guy, right? Even a 5 can fuck a fucking athlete, right? Provided the athlete like some chubby fucking chicks. I'm talking about the bottom ones, and then think that basically she's a 9 when she's just a 49er, right? For that thing that's a 9. And, and it's, and going back onto this, right? Like, think about it this way. Like, also, I want to address something because it's like, this part was very much on the money side,
Yeah, I think
because
maybe you
of
could
trading.
split this into two, part one and part two.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be honest, I'm thinking of even of titling it the parallels between trading and dating, right, or
You could
something
do
along
that
those
one.
lines. Yeah, and guys will be like, all right, I just need to get money and I'll just buy myself a car and I'll get myself a Rolex and bitches be flowing like it's fucking waterfalls. Nah, because it's like, yeah, you have the money. It's good. Great for you, right? But then if you communicate objectively, you don't get it because you put yourself as a utility. You're going to be treated yourself as a utility and your value is going to be that of a utility. The value of a utility has a downward sloping curve when it comes to the price of it. Why? Because it doesn't have any fucking brand value. Your money is not your brand. That's where status comes in, right? The thing is, if you look at a TV, right, you buy a fucking great TV, 5K or $5,000. In 3 years' time, you go into the reseller market, it's going to be worth 2,000, right? That's basically something that provides value originally, but then you get used to it because you just have the utility, right? It doesn't have anything that you can emotionally attach yourself to, right? And for example, women will basically value a handbag that is designer or shoes are designer that are worth less than the guy that provides, even though that guy that provides brings objectively more money to the table. Why? Because that handbag has a luxury tag next to it.
Yeah.
Like a Hermes airbag, a Birkin handbag, a LVMH handbag, they'll value that more. Why? Because of the brand value. And guys think that just having money is enough. No. If you look at those handbags or those, well, maybe not shoes, but handbags, you buy that handbag at 5K, in 2-3 years' time, you could even sell it for 8 or 10. Who knows?
Yeah.
But because of the brand value. Whereas the TV, you can't. You can't. And that's what guys don't understand. They don't understand that for them to be exceptional, it's not just about making money, but it's about building yourself to convey through subjective value metrics, such as game and just like game, frame, whatever you want to call it, that you're not like the other persons. Like many guys have money, way more than we like to think. So you're not that special. But a guy that has backbone, got money, and can put his girl back into her place when she acts out. They're few and far in between. And that's what they fucking value. That's why they go for assholes. That's why they go for fucking cheaters. You know, that's why even women will go back to a wife beater.
Absolutely.
And that's why, guys don't understand it. And they'd be like, well, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, because you project your logical mindset onto women who are not logical. And even though technically, what's the name? You know, being an asshole, being a cheater, what does it tell her is that you can get away with it. So it's a pre-selection tell. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you're spot on. You're spot on with all of that you said, because guys don't get it. They really don't. You know, they think they just want a playbook where it's like, okay, do this and do that and do this, and girls are gonna love you. I've never heard of, like, Elon Musk is the richest man on the planet. I've never seen a single tweet talking about how women desire him. Now he's fucking.
Yeah.
He is fucking. He is dating some gorgeous. He's dated. He has a good, dating track record. But you don't see women desire him. So sometimes, and even if you make some money, you will not be Elon Musk. So imagine you're Elon Musk, but with 1 million in the bank account. You're still not getting any pussy. You're most likely not getting any pussy except you're paying for it, right? So the other aspects, the intangibles, the things that can be calculated, because you can't calculate charisma, you can calculate frame, you can calculate game. You can't be like, oh yeah, he has more game than this person. These are things that are hard to quantify. These are the things that are really important. This is what's going to make you stand out from most guys, and guys don't understand it. The money is ridiculously important. We're not going to downplay that at all. However, it's the combination of everything that makes you exceptional. If you just have money, you end up being a target for girls who just want to take advantage of you, right? And it will work because you were never getting pussy prior to making money. And who am I to tell a dude? You know, like when I was coaching dudes, I'm not a dickhead. I don't tell dudes. I don't like, listen, if a guy has a girl who's with him, she's fucking him because he has money, I don't tell him, oh yeah, dump her. Because I do what's in the best interest of my clients. And that's why
Exactly.
and that's why I think that I had
when they not want to, even if it's not what they don't want, even if it's not what they want to hear.
Yes. Right. Even if it's not what they want to hear, but I'm also really empathetic to them. Right.
Yeah,
I've come like it's dudes I've coached. This motherfucker's 5'4". Right. Yes, he's doing well to some degree, but he's not exceptionally wealthy. He's just a guy who has a good job and he's making above average. But you're 5'4", right? It doesn't matter what it's certain things that it doesn't matter what I tell you. You can never embody it the way that you're supposed to because you're so disadvantaged that in most situations, women will give you the chance. So you may have to be a photographer just so you can get access. Like you could fake a gig or some shit like that in your city and DM models and see if you could take pictures of them or some shit like that. Or, start a fucking clothing brand and hire a couple models just so you can get access and be in control in that environment. Yes, you are 5'4", but if you're giving orders to chicks, right? And you're saying, hey, you do this and do that. Sweetheart, I'm going to need you to stay here and this will look like a better shot on you. And you're the one in charge. That triggers attraction to some degree. So I try to make guys, play into their strengths and, see what it is that they could do to make their situation better with whatever it is that they have. And for certain guys, I just don't tell them, make them feel bad about themselves. Okay, right now you fucked 5 prostitutes in the last 3 months. You're a piece of shit, right? No. Because you need to understand something. I'm going to be honest with you. And this is, I know if people listen to this and they hear LDG saying this, I'm actually going to put out a tweet about this soon. But I'm going to be brutally honest about it. Listen, if I was a dude who I've tried game, right? Still can't get pussy. I've tried everything. I've listened to all the podcasts on women and female nature. I'm deep into the red pill and I still can't get pussy. This is me telling you, man to man, being honest with you. I'm paying for pussy. I will pay for it. Listen.
Yeah.
Now
I will never do it. You know why? Because I don't have to. But it's hard to be empathetic and put yourself in the state. It's due to have tried everything. Those guys exist, right?
Yeah.
They've tried everything. Are they supposed to die virgins? They're never supposed to fuck. I mean, you've done a lot of fucking in your life. You know how good that shit feels.
Yeah.
Are you going to sit there and tell another man to never experience that till the day he dies because you don't want him, because you're too principled to tell him to pay for pussy? Bro, go
The thing
be a
is,
passport bro somewhere and get some pussy. What do you say?
man, like, thing is, at the end of the day, even if we were talking about intangibles, we're all paying for pussy, right? And it can be through attention given, through time given, through energy given. Those are intangible modes of payment, but they are still payment,
Absolutely.
right? And it's like we're all paying one way or another. And it's like, if you don't have money, you have to basically spend time, energy, and attention in order to compensate for it. If you have money, you can bypass all the bullshit, because money talks, the bullshit walks. Like whether, even those game guys that say, "Hey, I'm not paying for pussy." No, you are, but you're just basically not looking at the intangible way you're paying for pussy, and that is not. It makes you feel good, because when you don't crystallize the transaction in dollar terms, or euro terms, or whatever, right, it makes you feel that you didn't pay for it, but you still did. Unless literally the woman goes sees you in front of her, and then basically go and suck your cock off, you still paid for it. So,
Absolutely.
and you have to look at it from that perspective, right? I mean, like, look,
Yeah.
I've paid for pussy, and
What I'm against.
Yeah,
The only thing that I'm against. Sorry to cut you off, but the only thing
no,
I'm
it's cool,
against is when you haven't tried everything else.
Yeah.
Remember, I preface what I said by, if you've tried, because listen, whether for most guys they'll see some success. If they try everything and they're constantly trying to improve, they will see some success. They'll get some pussy organically. But those guys exist. You see those guys, they're those guys who would do everything and they still wouldn't be able to get pussy. And I will not be the bastard who's going to come along and tell them, die a virgin.
No, of course not.
Bro, go to Colombia, get some pussy. Go to don't go to Thailand and fuck a lady boy or some shit like that. But go where you can get some pussy and get some pussy. There's no way I'm going to let you sit here and try to make you feel bad for yourself, knowing fully well that I was blessed, right? We were born, because at the end of the day, you didn't choose your face, you didn't choose your physique. It's certain things that you didn't earn. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. No, but that's true. No, but like, honestly, I was lucky to be born 6'2". I was lucky to be born 6'2".
Look, you're 6'2". Look, what are we talking about here? Listen, right? You didn't choose that. You didn't work for it. You didn't hit the gym to be that, right? So sometimes I think that it's easy to lose empathy for the average dude who has tried everything and he will never hover around
100%.
a woman. A woman may never look at him with passion in her eyes and be like, "Oh my God, I love this guy." He may never experience that ever again. Now, is that an unfortunate reality? Yes, but am I supposed to sit there and tell that guy that he's a terrible person because he paid for a little bit of pussy? Come on, I'm not gonna do that. Now, if he never tried, then obviously he's a pussy.
And you'll know, and you'll see, right? Like, because I know a few girls that are working girls, right? And you'll see that not only most of the time the people that pay for pussy are married men, but a lot of time they're actually very well off, and they just don't have the fucking time to deal with bullshit.
Yeah, and they also don't want. It's safer.
It's safer, it's safer as well.
Do you get what I'm saying? You don't want nobody texting your wife and creating a scandal or some shit like this. This is business. You get your pussy and you go back home and love your family.
Exactly right. There is that, and then also on top of that, especially if you're like on the, like let's say you have status elsewhere, like online or even on TV and everything.
Yeah,
it's much easier to basically make them sign an NDA and then be like, done. Once you come to a certain level of money, it's like the transactional nature is, and I'm talking monetary terms, right? Not just time, attention, energy.
Yeah,
comes the main name in town, because you run so many risks. So you're of getting yourself Me Too'd or what that, because you're a target. People see you because you have social status or because you have money as a means for them to extract resources from you.
Yeah,
and you get fucked. So, it's like, it's all fine and dandy to say, hey, look, never pay for pussy. First of all, we all pay. Second of all, at some point, depending upon where your situation is, you'll have to do that. And talking about empathy, I know a guy. I told him, I said, and he's on the shore end of the stick when it comes to height. I told him, just go to fucking South America and like do your game. Came first day South America, went in there, got a girl straight up, first night. He was in America, nothing. And they made it easy. It was all nice. He didn't pay for it, right? And then next time he went, got a threesome. He was completely like a doomer mode. But now he sees things in a much different way.
Well, sometimes, I mean, you see, sometimes it's going where sometimes you're swimming in the deep end. You have to go to where you can actually swim. I think that they try to shame guys and be like, oh, you can only get girls in Medellin. You can only get girls in Thailand. It's like, bro, are you gonna tell this man to rather die in Miami, where he's being drowned by all the dudes there? Only sharks can survive in that type of water. So he's supposed to die a virgin and not get any pussy. I think people forget that sometimes life is about survival. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Life is about survival. If where you need to go is this particular location and that's going to give you better chances, I'm not against that. We all can't win in the bit. So is dudes like, listen, I go on Twitter sometimes on my actual Twitter and I see dudes, oh yeah, the dating scene in London is trash. The dating scene in London is garbage. And it's like, bro, what are you talking about? I have girls from London that fly down here to come and meet me with their own money just to come hang out with me and get fucked, right? But it's dudes in London that are like, oh my God, it's terrible over here. Bro, move. Go somewhere else and go get some pussy.
Yeah, man. Either basically you're not stacking up to the local demand,
Yeah.
or they're not, or there are not many hot girls around. Like, let's say if you're Midwest America, you're gonna mostly be dealing with fat whales and just like fucking master splinters. Like, you don't want to deal with that.
Well, you don't want to deal with that, friend.
Maybe
Right?
some brothers would.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying. Listen, right? You wouldn't, but a dude. Another thing too is, we have to call out male delusion too. You know how we see a girl is fucking, she's a 5 and she's talking about, oh, I want a guy 6 foot, 6 figures, 6 this and all that sixes, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, she's delusional. Bro, if you roll up to me and as a guy, you're a 5 or you're a 4 and you're like, oh, she's fat, she's a land whale. Wait, better shut the fuck up and fuck that girl. What are you talking about? Like, listen, let me be honest with you, right? If every guy is dating a 10, who the fuck is gonna date the whales? Because it ain't me.
It ain't me, man.
That's what I'm saying. So somebody has to hit those. At the end of the day, you're not like, I'm not saying marry the girl, but would you? Okay, let me give you an option. You have a coaching client. This dude rolls up. He's like, listen, bro, I've never fucked before. I'm jerking off to 10s on OnlyFans. I'm subscribing, but there's this fat chick that works at the local coffee shop in my town in Idaho, somewhere in America, and she really wants me to hit it. Would you tell him to continue jerking off to 10s on OnlyFans or fuck the fucking 4 who is a land whale?
It's so funny you mentioned that to me, because the first guy I ever helped was actually helped lose his virginity, and it was to a fat whale. It's crazy you make up with that stuff, because it's like, I'm not going to even give you an hypothetical one. I said, hey, look, go for it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, like, like, if a guy tells me he has never gone, like, I have Chad's the friends that are Chad's, right? If a guy is telling me that he's never done, like, with a chubby one or anything, I'm gonna call cap, right? Like, we've all gone through a fucking deep end shit, wrong place, wrong time, and then we basically put our heads to shame. But you know what's even the more shameful thing is when you fucking bust a nut so fast with a bitch that you shouldn't have. It's like, and my friend said to me, like, it was so funny. My friend said to me, it was like, man, I can't believe it. So he got catfish out of a dating app, right? Like, he thought he was dealing with like a fucking hot Greek goddess, right? It ended up being like more or less how do you call it? It was not a Greek goddess, but it was like a land whale. Well, not a land whale, but she was podgier and everything. And he was like, "Oh man, you won't believe it." And I was like, "What?" And it's like, she started giving me that blowjob. I busted a nut straight in her mouth, and I was like, "Oh, really?" And it's like, "Yeah, man." And then he called her buttery mouse, and I was like, "Yeah." And then he started taking the piss out of it. Right? I was like, "Hey, nigga," and then I called him chubby chaser on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then I was in a rut. Like, when you were talking about karma earlier, I was in a rut, and I was like, and then there was this girl, like, I was like, all right, I'll just hit it. I'll just hit it, right? Anyway, come back to mine, and man, it was 5-stroke special, and I was like, whoa, that never happened to me. Like the jokes, right? Like, like when you go in there and it's like you're joking, like, like because you see a guy saying like they basically had premature ejaculation, like, and you joke and he says, it's not what he looks like, I was that guy, but with that girl, that the fat bro, that I was like, and then and then I remember the time I was taking the piss out of my friend, right, for being a chubby chaser, and I was like, yeah, do you believe in God? Like, he had a fucking plan for you to basically pay for the trolling that you did to him. I was like, so, but yeah, thing is, with all guys gone there, I believe that all guys gone there, if at least to try it once, just for God's sake. Yeah, you have to look at what are your options and look at, what can you apply for, and it's because if you're too principled, and also I'll say something that is going to go very much against, like common wisdom is test it with girls you're not attracted to, game girls you're not attracted to, in order to see how come you do well with them and not with the other girls. Why? Because you find yourself in a situation where a lot of time you'll have something which I call leveling behaviors, which is behaviors that you do to compensate for the delta in SMV that you perceive. But technically, you're crystallizing the delta SMV that you perceive because of the behavior that you do. I mean by that, with the words, you simp for girls that you deem are higher than you, and therefore you confirm the fact that they're higher than you because of your simping. But your simping originated from the fact that you thought they were higher than you.
Absolutely.
And it's like the difference between self-perceptive SMV and normal SMV, right? Normal SMV doesn't fucking matter because people will act and behave based upon their self-perception of their SMV. And it's like, if you look at a girl that is a 5 and you think yourself you're a 6, what's going to happen is that you're going to be treated like she's a 5, even though she may think she's a 7 or an 8. Doesn't fucking matter because your game will be as if you treat her like she's shit.
Yeah.
But when she's an 8, that you believe she's an 8, you treat her like she's an 8. And if you believe you're a 6 or a 7, you feel that she's above you, therefore you're going to behave like that. So it's good for you to understand how different you behave from the girl that you think are 8 to the girl that you think are 5, and then break shit down and just don't do the shit that you would normally do with the 8 that you don't do with a 7, with a 5. And you get better results overall. What's your take on dating girls that you're not necessarily attracted to?
I think, and just saying this, while you were speaking, I just actually just put a tweet in my draft because you just inspired a new tweet that I'm gonna drop on these dudes. And after we stop recording this, I want to ask you something. I'm gonna ask you something. It's just off the record. So, but in terms of dating girls that you're not attracted to, and this is a tweet I'm gonna put out. I think you need to date the girls you're not attracted to who are attracted to you to know how.
Yes.
To know how, right? The girl that you're attracted to would treat the guy that she's attracted to. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I understand. Exactly. Understand what desire is.
Yes. Because guys will be, oh, that girl likes me too much, and they don't like her. And then they go be with this other girl who isn't acting like that other girl who really likes them. And they think that this is normal. Like the way this girl is acting is normal. No. The way that other girl that you don't like was acting is how girls act when they like you.
Yes.
But to this other girl, you are not that guy that she's going to act like that for. She's not acting normally. She doesn't like you.
Exactly.
So in order to get a clear picture of how women are when they like a guy, you have to go date those women that you do not really like. That's the way you're only going to know. That's the way you're going to know. So if you're dating a girl and she's acting a certain way, she may like you a little, but she doesn't really like you, and you'll be able to tell because you've seen it before. Most guys have never seen it before because they'll never give that land whale a chance.
Exactly. Well, necessarily land well, it could be that she's just not that good looking and she's slim, right? But like, think, like, it's also this thing that there's this complete, and this is where I stand against what's on the red pill or even on game. It's like shit tests are not good for you. If she's shit testing you, it's because she's not knowledgeable. Like she doesn't give you the benefit of the doubt. That means it's because she's not sold on you. And people think that you always have to prove yourself to a girl. No, you don't have to fucking prove yourself to a girl. If a girl likes you, exactly. If a girl likes you, she'll assume the positive and she won't shit test you. And guys will believe that basically they deserve the girl because they got shit tested. When what it just do is creating a low self-esteem loop where you feel that you're never enough because you have to prove yourself to a girl that never really thought great about you. And whenever you're in a relationship with her, what's going to happen is your margin for mistakes are going to be way smaller. So you always feel like you're walking on eggshells. Oh, I always need to keep frame. Oh, I always need to basically put her back in her place. Hey, nigga, I'm just like be pleasant, you know?
Bro, listen, right? Listen, you hit the nail on the head. Like, as dudes who are in this space of red pill and game and everything, everything can just sound like a monolith sometimes where everybody's just regurgitating the same things.
Yeah.
You see, just talking to you, I know you're a guy in real life who gets girls. I think when you speak to a guy who actually gets girls, you could tell. Because we have real life experiences and we know that everything is not just click cut where it's like, oh my God, if she tests you, this is what you're supposed to say. And if you listen, a girl who completely adores you will not test you.
Yep.
Dudes don't understand this, right? But that's another thing too, is that sometimes it's the privilege of a woman just finding you attractive and you're that guy. It's certain guys, they have to prepare for that test with every single girl that they're ever going to be with. And that's how they could get it. So I completely understand that perspective. But to make it seem like, because there are guys who could be like, oh, if she doesn't test you, it means she doesn't like you, bro. Who sold you that? No. I'm sure you've seen that shit. They're trying to make it seem like.
I know. It makes me laugh, man.
They said I was also saying guys say things like, if you want to know if she's a good girls have the most tests because they don't want any guy just to fuck. It's like, come on, bro. She doesn't like you. It's about you.
Exactly.
Every way that a woman acts, never generalize it. It's about you. It's always about you. I don't judge women based on what I think women should do. I judge women based on what I think they're capable of.
Exactly.
When I'm talking to a girl, when I'm dealing with a girl, I know that there's a guy out there that she would love like her life depends on it. So if she's not loving me like that, it's not that I'm egotistical and I think that every woman should love me that way. Is that I know that there's another guy that she's going to love more than she loves me, and I'm not him. So I'm going to do her a favor and do myself a favor and fuck off so she could go find that guy, whereas I go find a woman who's going to adore me, because it's definitely not her. She's never going to see me as that guy. So when girls are giving me all of this shit test, I fuck them. Those hoes get fucked too. But am I going to be like, okay, this is the woman I want to start a family with? No, fuck no.
And you know the other thing which is interesting, because for me the way I look at it, right? Of course there's a you in the factor, right? But I'm looking at it more from the variables, like different variables. I'm looking at it as an equation, right? You are part of the equation, right? Me, you, like, whoever she's dealing with are part of the equation. But also it's also about where she's at her stage in life, what she's gonna most likely prioritize. What's her mood of the moment? How busy, distracted she is. Depending upon you as an individual, as a factor, you can increase the coefficient within the equation. The more how do you call it, exceptional you are. You see what I'm saying? But the least exceptional you are, the lower the coefficient. But also another thing, which what you assume, right? She's been like that with someone else, but not with you. I assume the same. But you know what I do on top of that?
What?
I qualify. I just asking direct questions in a way to kind of like, you did this with so like, how are you with that guy? And then she tells me, and ask a bit more questions. Like, and then basically I look at how she behaved with me versus how she behaved with him. And I was like, all right. But most of the time, well, actually, almost all the time, I don't remember when, there was always a time where there's been a difference. Do you see what I'm saying? Either on the positive or on the negative.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's about what. So technically, I'm saying the same thing as you. I'm just adding a little bit more fluff to it, right? All the time, it's about what are you making her feel that she has not felt from other guys. It all goes back to that. But anyway, I think we went quite over the expected time. I think it's been a fucking great chat. Do you want to just wrap up the pod with closing thoughts or anything?
I don't know. We've said a lot. I think we came in with a plan and we just kind of.
So much for that.
Yeah, listen. We came in with a plan and we just, spitball the whole thing and just went all over the place. But I mean, that's why you're going to edit it. So like, you're going to do like some edits and try to see how you can place things together and maybe take out a couple things that you feel,
No, man, I'm keeping it all, man. I'm keeping it all.
Oh, you're keeping
pure,
it as
raw, unfiltered. You said raw dogging life. I'm raw dogging podcast, man.
I mean, I go for it, man. I don't really have much to say as a closing statement. Like, I really enjoyed this. You know, this being my first podcast, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how uncomfortable I was gonna be. But I mean, you're a cool guy, man. Like, you just made everything comfortable. It just felt like I was talking to a buddy that I've known for years. I appreciate you having me, man. Thanks for the podcast hospitality. It felt great. You know, you're a wonderful host, man. I appreciate it. I hope we could do this again sometime.
Oh, 100%. I enjoyed
But
it that much.
next time we have to set the topics, and you know, now it's just okay. You know, we're just building that familiarity and everything. Next time
Yeah.
we can actually, you know, have a layout on the things that we actually want to talk about, and maybe we could host a space together and you know
Oh
have
yeah,
these
100%. That's a
yeah
good idea. That's a good
yeah
idea.
yeah.
100%.
We could do things like a live stream and have dudes around. I think that would be funny and that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm up for this shit. Yeah.
All
Anyway,
right.
man, thank you guys and for having listened to our rants and digressions. On this, we'll see you soon. I've got a few more guests coming in the next few days, and hope you're gonna enjoy the rest as well. And this is it.